G'day Wester here. I've got a DCS running in my Toby. Sorry, it's so noisy in these headphones. Oh, that's better. So I've just finished tuning this helicopter to make just to the way I like to fly it, so it's got good sensitivity in the cyclic. And the standard settings, in my opinion, are no good. I'm running the Hotus X52, running Thrustmaster pedals and Toby eye tracker. So as you can see, I've got good view. I've got a couple of buttons set up on my thrust controller. One's to reset it, one's to turn it off. For some reason it seems to be conflicting. But anyway, I'll just sorry, plane's coming in. So when you actually leave the settings standard, it's really spongy. Like it does not respond well to cyclic inputs. I believe this is pretty much one for one for what my hand is doing, actually on the joystick, to what my the joystick and the controls are doing. So even right down to applying a little bit of left pedal. The DCS has done such a good job, I feel. And so I'm just going to take off. So I've got, as you can see, I'm concentrating quite hard because you can't not take your eye off the ball. So I'm just focusing just down by my feet there, just kind of like get an idea what the ground is doing. And as you can see, I'm putting little wee inputs in, and that's matching what I'm actually doing on the controls on the helicopter. So I'm applying a bit of left pedal, a bit of right pedal, and it's really sensitive. It's so good. It's exactly what you would expect, I would think. So you just have a glance at how many knots you're doing, and then just slowly ease it down, and you're back down again. So taking off, you apply a little bit of left pedal, bring it up off the ground. I'm moving a little bit now, so I'm just going to slow that down a little bit. That's it. So I'll just apply a little bit of right pedal, and even actually doing the counter, if you spin too quick, even just to do a counter, like you have to apply counter pedal, and just the sound effects are so friggin' awesome. So I'll just pull it around, yeah, and it's actually responding really well to my inputs. I'll just cruise up here and doing about 70 knots, about 64 meters. So I'll just pull up here. I'll just pull into a glide path down. So my speed is actually dropping about the same as my knots. So I'll apply a bit of collective now, and I'm just going to try and bring that into a hover now. I'm just looking down the bottom right hand corner. Oh, a little bit messy, but not too bad. So bring her up again. And focusing on just a blade of grass or the ground in front of you really gives you that you're concentrating really hard to try and maintain that same spot. Because as soon as it starts drifting off, and you just got to quickly glance at how many feet you're off the, or meters you are off the ground, or feet. I don't know if it's feet actually. Oh yeah, it is feet. So yeah, so that's pretty much so as you can see, I'm applying I'm drifting about 2 o'clock, so I'm applying a little bit of counter collective, counter cyclic. I'm not actually moving my collective at all. So, but it's very sensitive to inputs, which is really good, and that's how I like to fly these. This is the UH60, but I think they've done a really good job of putting this together. Just the sound effects of the blade slap when you know. So I'm trying to bring it back into a hover again. You notice my tail's down a little bit because they are tail heavy, and then just ease down. That was a bit messy. So yeah, so anyway, that gives you a bit of an idea of so what I'll do is I'll show you, that's better, I'll show you the controls, how I've got it set up. So if we go to axis commands, scroll down to your cyclic collective, your pitch and roll, right click and tune combo. As you can see, I've got no dead zone. My saturation XY is 100, and I've got my curvature at -40. When it's sitting at 0, it's very sluggish. Does not respond at all or very well. I found that 50 was too high for me, so that just tells me that my motor skills aren't quite there. And this is, I've probably only done, like lately, I've probably done, this is about the first hour I've done flying DCS for a long time. I've spent quite a few hundred hours flying, just flying helicopters in the UH60 and the MH6 in Armour 3. That's got pretty good flight models, but this is more realistic. You get that you know, over rotor spin, you get your stall, all that sort of stuff. So so you basically set that, and for the X, the same again, match it at 40. So 0, 100, 100, -40. So I'll show you what happens when you set it to 0. So it comes out standard at 0. I'll just a bit of a demonstration, and you watch what happens to my cyclic. I know you can't see my cyclic in this, but yeah, so I'm moving my cyclic quite a bit before that starts moving, almost like it's got dead stick, and it's quite a lot harder to control. I'll see if I can get it up into a hover. Yeah, see, it's drifting forward already. It's very, I just think it's too sluggish to get control of it. So I'll just change that back again. Just as soon as you pull it off the ground, you've got to add opposite cyclic to where it wants to drift, because it could depend on whether it's you've got a gust of wind or anything like that. Or you might have yanked a little bit too much on the collective, and it starts spinning the tail, and then you chase your tail, then it starts drifting, you know, the opposite way. It's, yeah, pretty cool. So I haven't actually done a lot of flying these in DCS, like I said, but you watch the difference. So when I get this, you'll notice I get control of it straight away. So I'm just looking down at those blades of grass. I'll just slowly pull on collective, and straight away, see how it didn't drift forwards? I know I'm going backwards a little bit, but this is messy. So sometimes you just got to pull the cyclic and just let it settle into whatever movement, otherwise, and just let it centralise. Otherwise, you start chasing your tail. Sometimes if you're getting out of control, you've got to give it a bit of a cyclic rotation. But that's pretty good. So I can pretty much take off straight up now. And it's got really good response. Nowhere near as swift as DCS, because that's a bit unrealistic. But it's still pretty good response. I mean, I am getting a delay, which you will do anyway. Bit of a fly landing on my head. So yeah, no, it's pretty cool. So you can come in and bleed off your speed, like with your tail. Bleed off a bit of speed. And then slowly work your way down. So, just like so. So that was a nice landing. So yeah, so just wanted to. So I've probably done about 300 hours on armour now. This one early on, probably 3 months ago, I flew probably 4 or 5 hours. With this, it was quite difficult because, and I didn't realise until I started flying Armour 3 that it was very, very sluggish on your control inputs. So now you can actually get control of it quite well. And it just settles into a nice hover. You just got to be prepared to put, counter whatever movement you're seeing, because you still got to glance straight ahead to see, where you are on the horizon, and have a quick look at your attitude gauge and your knots, of course. But you can usually see, if you're looking at a blade of grass or a piece of dirt on the ground, you can see that you're not moving. So, then it's pretty safe to start edging down, just feather the collective down. So, yeah. So hopefully that gives some of you people out there of any interest, of course. So I can just nose into the runway now. Just a bit of an idea of some of the changes that I've made to make this fly a lot better. So see if we can. So I'm just trying to match my. It's just to drift it off a bit. Add a bit of collective. So now I'm looking at how many feet per second I'm dropping. I know I'm not going to land on the runway, but okay, I'm almost pulling 0, and I'm dropping. So I'll just add some collective, just a little bit too much. And now I start looking down. Quick look at my altitude, attitude to see. There we go. Look at that. Nice. Yeah, just let that down nicely. So yeah, anyway, just thought I'd give you a bit of a rundown on where I'm at. So 300 hours on Armour 3, and this is probably, yeah, like I said, my first 1 hour, and I haven't even done an hour's flying. I've just done, just done a little bit. I was a bit overzealous there. Alright. So yeah, anyway, so that's me. Thanks for tuning in, and it probably hasn't helped anybody, but just in case you were having trouble struggling with getting control of your heli with your controls, just a couple of ideas for you to work through. So Anyway, so thanks guys. That's me. Done.